Hello, I'm Gary Quinn. Welcome to another episode of Ready, Set, Live. My guest today is the dynamic Olympic swimmer, Dara Torres. She has 4 gold, 4 silver, and 4 bronze, and is a #1 New York Times bestselling author. Welcome to the show, Dara.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Gary.
Dara, I've followed your career because I was an ex-swimmer, and we both swam on Mission Viejo Nadadoras with Mark Schubert. So we have that Marguerite Center, rec center, work mind in the way we swim. So it's just a pleasure to see someone like you create such a force for women and also inspiring women. With the 4 gold and the 4 silver and the 4 bronze, when you look back at the games, what was the most incredible games that you had, or the favorite?
That's a great question, but it's hard to pick because I was at different stages in my life. My first one being 17 years old and sort of that kid bouncing off the walls and not really appreciating being there was tough, but it was my hometown and I had my family there and friends there watching. So, I mean, that was definitely one of my favorite ones. But I guess I'd have to say Beijing, only because my daughter was born. She was a little over 2 years old. And, I was looking forward to the day that I could sit down and talk to her and tell her all about the Olympics when she's old enough kind of to understand what it was all about. So I'd have to say Beijing, but only just because I just had my daughter.
What do you think about the athletes that have trained all their lives and now the Olympic Games in Tokyo were postponed? I mean, it's almost like you reach your prime and then all of a sudden you wait. I mean, that's devastating emotionally for athletes.
Yeah, it is. And I think it would have been tougher for someone who's a little bit older like me, who, really would reach their prime. I mean, a lot of these kids can bounce back when they're younger. But it also wreaks havoc on you mentally because, you've had this goal your whole entire life, especially if you're training for your first Olympics ever. And you've had this goal since you were like 7, 8, 9 years old, wanting to go to the Olympic Games. And you had 2020 in your head for all those years. And your coach has 2020 in their head. And you have to sort of like take a step back and reset and also understand that everyone's going through the same thing you're going through. So you're not in this alone, and sort of do a refocus. I'm sure it's going to affect some athletes, but it might affect other athletes in a better way because maybe they weren't ready for 2020 and will be much more focused and trained for 2021. So who knows? But I don't envy them at all, and I'm glad I wasn't in that situation.
And I quit swimming because of the same thing, because of the Moscow games were
Mhm.
boycotted. And I was having shoulder problems. And I basically had to go tell Mark Schubert I'm quitting because I got a job in Hollywood. But I think mentally it was like, you say I'm retired. And, when you said in many of your interviews, never say never, because I never thought I'd come back 20 years and do masters swimming. And I swam at the Janet Evans meet as a masters. And I'm in the lane as a 30-year-old with 17-year-olds next to me. And I said, I just want to win one race or at least better my time. But I mean, as a swimmer going to the Olympics at 41, what was that like?
It was fun. I think I had a much deeper appreciation for going at 41 years old. Um, I'll never forget when we got to the village, our coaches said, okay, you have to go and change, get your swimming gear. We're going right to the pool, getting on the buses. So we did that. And we walked into what they called that arena, the cube, and walked in. And I remember the young kids looking over the pool and just kind of chit chatting a little bit. And there's a little bit of fog or smog or whatever was outside kind of seeped in the inside. And they're like, that's so gross. Oh, and talking about it. And I remember taking a step back and being like, God, it's so cool to be back in the Olympic Games again. And I think I had a much, like I said, deeper appreciation being there at an older age. And I mean, I was thanking all the workers who probably didn't know one lick of English and no idea what I was saying, but I was just so grateful and thankful to be there again at 41.
Wow. And as you balance motherhood, How did you balance swimming? Because I know you were pregnant and you were still working out, correct?
Yeah, so when I got pregnant, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be one of those mom that eats for two. I'm going to like stay in shape, and I'll make sure I eat healthy for my daughter. But I'm going to go to the gym every day and work out, and that didn't go too well. I had morning sickness, and every time I tried to go on an aerobic machine, I just got sick to my stomach. Actually, was sick to my stomach almost my whole entire pregnancy. So it was one of those pregnancies. But I remember thinking, wow, I can go to a pool and I can get in and swim. If I get sick in the gutter, keep going, no big deal. No one will know. And it just seemed like the logical choice to work out while I was pregnant. And also there was something about being in the pool and just sort of her moving a little bit. So I felt more comfortable. So it just seemed like a logical choice. And the other thing too is your joints sort of move a little more and everything's a little more loose. So I thought swimming, since it's non-impact, would be better for me too. So there was a lot of reasons why I decided to swim, but I had no intention of getting back in competitive swimming. I just was swimming for exercise with my daughter to begin with.
Wow. What has been the biggest challenge for you during your swimming career?
Well, I mean, I was in the sport for so many years, so there were lots of challenges. I guess I don't know. I mean, I went through an eating disorder when I was in college, when I was training with Randy Reese at University of Florida, and that was obviously a huge challenge. But as I got older, I think the biggest challenge where there were two things. Number one, all the negativity that was around me is like, she can't do it, she's too old. And I'm like, just keep saying that because it's going to make me want to do it even more. So I kind of try to take the negatives and turn it into a positive. But I think at that age, the hardest thing was people not believing I was doing it clean. Um, just imagine doing something your whole life and giving your heart and soul to it, and someone saying, "Oh no, they're cheating. They're not doing it the right way." That was probably the most difficult for me to sort of get over mentally. I had to sort of make some changes in the sense like I used to not care what people thought, but that really just struck a chord because at some point my daughter, when she's old enough to read the internet, is going to start reading some of that stuff, and that really made me sad. But I tried to be proactive about it, and I went to USADA and met with the head of USADA, who was the guy who brought down Lance Armstrong. His name's Travis Tiger, and I said, look, it was a year before the Olympic trials. I'm like, this is what's going on. This is what people are saying. And I want to do drug testing. I want you to test me any way you want. Come up with a program. Do whatever you can just to show that I'm doing this the right way. And he said, I'll see what I can do. And sure enough, in January of 2008, so about 6 months before Olympic trials, they created this program where they took about a couple of the top athletes from each sport and tested them and took about 38 vials of blood, and which was a lot, like, but they did it in like 3 weeks or so, and then would come back randomly at all times of the day and test us to see if there was any change or what was going on with our systems. Was anyone doing anything out of the ordinary? So it was kind of cool they did that, but that was probably the hardest challenge for me in my career.
And what you said about the belief, even when I was an athlete, there were moments where I didn't believe. And what I teach now is about really learning to trust yourself and believe in yourself. And I think as an athlete, when you heard you can't do it, that pushes you into, let's
Oh
say,
yeah,
third gear, and you
yeah.
go, I'm going for it,
Yeah.
and
Keep
that's
saying I'm not going to do it. That's fine. It's just going to make me want to win even more.
exactly, and that's what I love about you. What do you think one of the reasons why people are so unhappy in life?
Um, I think it's all about directions and setting goals. And I think some people don't think about doing that. And um, I think it's look, life takes a lot of energy no matter what you're doing. And you have to have that energy and want to set goals, and no matter what it is. I mean, for me, it was swimming. And then I'm like, okay, I have my child. And then, okay, what am I going to do with my career now? And I'm always trying to kind of going. But that's my personality. And not everyone has that personality. And so I think sometimes when you don't have a road ahead of you or don't know what's coming up, and I think this happens a lot to athletes after they're done with their sport, it's like, my gosh, this is what I've been doing my whole life. Like, what am I going to do now? And you've been training for that, that one big goal, and you achieve it, or you try your best and you get close to it. And then it's like, whoa, like now I have the rest of my life and I have no idea what I'm going to do. So I think a lot of athletes go through that where they're unhappy because, or they're depressed because they don't know what that next chapter in their life is.
What do you do, let's say diet wise? You're still working out, but are you on a specific vegan?
Kidding.
You worked out this morning, right?
I did, of course I did.
Do you do vegan or are you keto? I mean, or you can eat anything? Because when I was swimming, I remember we ate like pigs, and then when you stop, oh my God, you blow up like a balloon.
Well, it's funny because my body's changed over the years. I would look at food when I was in college, and this is how this whole eating disorder thing happened. But I would look at food in college and would gain weight. And my coach was very specific about what he wanted us to weigh because he thought we could look intimidating on the starting blocks. So there was this whole thing, and I sort of just took the bad path to try to lose weight. So that was me when I was younger. But as I got older, my metabolism got faster, which is weird because it's faster when you're younger usually. And so I'm definitely one of those people that can eat what they want. But you have to remember, I also work out a lot, and I'm lucky that I was in a sport for so long that my body has muscle memory and remembers sort of like how it was. And so, it's not to say I don't have loose skin here and there everywhere in different places, which I don't like to show people. But yeah, I try to eat well, but I definitely have my things that aren't really healthy for you, but I just try to eat it in smaller proportions so I'm not depriving myself. So, yes, I eat healthy. Yes, I do have pizza and dessert, but I eat them in the right portions where I can eat it, but also eat healthy, but also exercise. So it's all kind of combined together.
What's the worst food you eat?
I love chocolate cake. I love chocolate. I love vanilla ice cream. I love tacos. I ate like 5 tacos last night. I think, and I eat meat. I like to eat meat a lot. So, I definitely have my bad habits, but like I said, it's all about portion size.
Do you cook?
I do cook. Well, okay, wait. Let me just back up a little bit.
What's the best dish?
My tacos are the best.
Okay.
And I know this isn't cooking, but I make excellent popcorn.
Ooh.
I make great lasagna. What I was told is I do salads very well. The way I mix salads together and the dressings and everything, I apparently make very good salads. But I don't do exquisite dishes or hard to do dishes. I just do simple dishes. And I think as someone who doesn't cook a lot, I'm definitely one of those people that has their dishes that they do very, very well, but not many of them.
What does love mean to you?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear love is my daughter and my partner and my dogs. That's sort of the biggest thing, and family. Family is love to me, and it's really just feeling something. Oh my God, you put love in there, and you put Michael Phelps there. Hi, Michael. But oh, he's a great kid. But I think it's really just feeling from the heart and feeling emotions. Like, to me, that's love.
And I think you can have love for Michael Phelps, love for
Of
your
course.
coach,
Yes.
love for
There's different
your,
levels.
yeah, absolutely. And I
Right.
think people think love is, you can't buy love.
No.
And I think, people are always searching for love in the wrong places. Um, how, what would you say to someone who needs to learn how to love themselves? What would be the number one tip you would give them?
I'm the worst person to ask because I probably love people more than I love myself. So, like, I'm always giving. I'm always, and I think that's a little bit of fault to mine. I mean, listen, you have to love yourself to an extent and to a degree, and be okay with the type of person you are. But I'm also about giving, about showing love, and I wear my heart on my sleeve, and that's just kind of who I am. And you can't just try to make yourself love someone. You have to feel it.
Do you ever, even with all the working out, do you stress at any moment, or is there a
when I
time that
work out.
you work out. Okay, but do you do meditation also? I know you do yoga and you do the what is it, the Kiara technique?
PR stretching, yeah. So I stress some for sure. I'm impatient. That's probably my worst quality. I guess you can't really call it a quality, but that's the worst thing about me is patience. I'm always like, come on, let's go, let's do this, let's do that. And I've been like that my whole life, from the minute I was born and racing my brothers to the car, trying to be the first one done at the dinner table. Like I'm always in a hurry. Living in New York did not help that quality. But I've tried to be better about it, and kids are sponges, and I have my daughter; she's 14, not as much as a sponge now. She was when she was younger, but it's all about how you act in front of people, and I really need to try to still work on my patience and trying to be more patient. I'm definitely better than I was when I was younger, so hopefully I'll get better and better as I get older.
But what you have to remember is patience is just being authentic and just not having to do anything but be. And
Yes,
be beautiful means be you to the fullest.
yes.
So I feel like you've achieved so much. You just have to be now because you are amazing. You don't have to do any more than that. And I think patience comes from just really being cool and okay with life and knowing you have it. You have it.
Yeah, I think I definitely have some of that, but I think I have some of the other too. So
Okay. We
I
got to
just have
work
to
on
find them.
that.
Yes.
The Zen, the Zen. Um,
And
who inspires you musically?
I actually like all different types of music. And I think it's those who actually sing and you can hear their voices and hear them tell a story. That's the type of singers I like. So I can't really pinpoint one. I mean, obviously, you see me wearing the Police, and I love classic rock. I grew up in that era. My brothers, we had a jukebox growing up, and my brothers used to play the 45 singles, those little records in the jukebox. And so I definitely have an affinity for classic rock, but I also love more mellow music and just hearing someone's voice and hearing someone tell a story.
In one word, how would you describe what swimming has meant to you?
Um, I think serenity, and I know that sounds kind of weird because I'm very competitive when I'm in the pool, but there's something that happens when I dive in the water and I feel one with the water, one with the pool. Like I don't really see or hear anything else next to me. It's just like I dive in, and again, it doesn't matter if I'm racing or if I'm just in a pool by myself swimming. There's something about feeling one with the water and just feeling serene.
What's so interesting is a lot of the interviews over the years have sort of said that you're the Michael Phelps in a female version. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge compliment. I don't know really what they mean. Maybe they mean their competitiveness. Obviously, he swam a lot of different events and had a lot more, I would say, talent with across the board with all the swimming events there are. I was a little more specific with swimming sprint and swimming freestyle and butterfly, but he's definitely competitive, and I see it and I laugh because I'm the exact same way. And there's just I do see some similarities with him, and was seeing him in his first Olympic Games as a 15-year-old, and then seeing him compete, later in life, and then having a kid while competing. So there definitely are some similarities. Sorry, but I don't know. I don't think it's so much the actual swimming, although I have a long wingspan and long legs, and but I think we're also a little bit different. So I can see the similarities, but I can also see the differences.
I mean, what I loved about sprinters is that you guys would just fly off the blocks. I would just take forever to get off the blocks. And you guys were already at the flip turn. I mean, it's amazing. I was a distance swimmer, so I don't know how to sprint. I just don't have it. I mean, it's
Well, you did mention that we swam with Mark Schubert at different years. Like I just missed you. I came in '83 and you stopped in '81. When in '83, when I came, he had just started a sprint program. And so the distance swimmers, if you were there, you would have hated us because we came in later and we left earlier and we didn't swim as many workouts. And so which is really different from Mark Schubert, as you know, because he was just like yardage, 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 and pound the workouts. But I think he was very aware of what it took to be a sprinter, and I think it killed him though to do those type of workouts for us because he was so used to being a distance coach.
Oh my God, I would dread those morning 5,000 time for swim at
Oh,
at the high school, Mission Viejo High
yes.
School. It was a nightmare. I couldn't keep track of 5,000. Sprinters, I mean, that what a great, I didn't even know he had that program. I mean, that would have been cool to do that workout.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
Um, when you leave this experience, Dara, lifetime, how do you want to be remembered?
I would love to be remembered as someone who is very caring and giving, and that took care of others and didn't put myself first. And as far as a person, as far as swimming, I guess just being able to swim for so many years and hopefully pave the way for other people who thought that they were too old to swim or to do something in life.
Well, I think you are the
Longevity.
yes, longevity. You are the key to longevity, and you are perpetual motion. You are a superstar in your right, and I want you to know that wherever you go in the world, you are a shining star.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Dara, for spending this time with me today. I so appreciate you and ex Mission Viejo Nadador. And until we meet again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Gary Quinn. Join me for another episode of Ready, Set, Live.